next on Sunday Square Off.
I don't know anybody that uses a horse and buggy every day right now either. We've all changed into automobiles.
Adrian Fontes, Maricopa County's top elections official, moving fast to overhaul the way we vote. Plus,
so that's much more of an impact than if we just dedicate the dollars to the growth of government.
Eileen Klein, leader of the state's university system, defending a raid on cities' budgets to spruce up campuses. But a big city mayor pushes back. Then,
I don't think this school should continue to do harm to students.
A $45,000 a year Phoenix Law School in trouble for failing to produce lawyers. Also, a weasel reporter targeted by prosecutors who don't want you to know what they're up to. All that and more right now on Sunday Square Off. Just days after the one-year anniversary of Arizona's presidential primary voting fiasco, the new head of Maricopa County's elections, Recorder Adrian Fontes, laid out his plans for overhauling the way we vote. The message: the future of voting is now. November elections in dozens of county races will be by mail-in ballot only. The November 2018 election for statewide office will also be by mail-in ballot only if the legislature makes the needed change in state law. Fontes also reports he found 40,000 voter registrations in boxes, apparently never completed, and there were more than 200 instances of double voting in the 2016 election, but no evidence of illegality. Adrian Fontes joins us this morning. Welcome back. That is quite an ambitious agenda you got there.
Well, we just want to fix things, so if ambition is to make it right, then so be it.
You want to do away with traditional walk-up voting, day of the election voting. You want to do it right now. Why so fast?
Well, a couple of reasons, and first of all, I'm not the only one that wants to do it. My predecessor, Ms. Purcell, was very adamant about pushing in this direction as well. And we're advancing the schedule a little bit because of some of the equipment that we saw failing at polling sites. And we're not going to have the time to make the technological fixes on this massive electronic system, the e-poll book system, by the time we get to the November elections. And since we already have a very robust vote-by-mail system where 80% of our voters vote, what we're going to do is shift those jurisdictional elections this fall, 2017, into the vote-by-mail system so that we can have enough time to figure out whether or not we're going to have the right kind of electronic system for e-poll books in the fall of 2018, or whether we're going to go all vote by mail in 2018 as well. But at least we'll have time to be able to work through that.
So kind of a dry run. What kind of races are these coming up in the fall?
So we've got school bonds and overrides, fire district races, city council races, some municipal general election races, things of this nature. So they're jurisdictional, which means they're not county-wide races, which are mandated, of course, by law to be at this time with polling places per precinct. So we can determine how those elections are administered, and at this stage of the game it is most prudent, because of the problems that we've had with those electronic systems, to go vote by mail.
So it's an ambitious plan for a recorder's office under new leadership. Hasn't run an election yet. You still don't have an elections officer, chief elections officer or director in place. Why should voters be confident you can pull this off?
Well, the office has not had any significant turnover insofar as the folks who actually do the work, right? We have a new recorder, we have a chief deputy. We didn't have a chief deputy for many years, and our assistant directors of elections are all the same, and all the staff. So as far as, again, running vote by mail elections, we've got more experience still in Maricopa County than most other jurisdictions have across the state and across the country. We can do this because we've been doing it for a very long time. And let's remember, the polling places and the polling place elections where most of the problems have happened, and those were with voter registrations that may have been changed, provisional ballots are all part of the polling place election system. The vote by mail system, which is the second form of election we have every year, is the one that is intact. It's the one that we are preserving, and it's the one that we're going to promote for these smaller elections this fall.
So there are 350,000 people out there who cast ballots walking into a polling place in this past November's election.
Right, during general elections.
During the general election.
Right.
They like doing that.
I did too, and I campaigned on preserving polling places. Right?
So wait, are you saying you just broke a campaign promise?
Absolutely I did. And here's why. Because I know better now. I learned better. I was sentimentally attached to the neighborhood polling place. unaware of some of the finer details and some of the administrative parts of this. And I've learned since then that insofar as that particular aspect of it is concerned, Helen Purcell was right. And thankfully, she had hired the right people to run a very robust and very trustworthy vote-by-mail system. And so that's what we're preserving. And, you know, I'm happy to learn. You know, there's been one or two other times I've been wrong in my life, and that was one of them.
Okay, so you've changed one mind. You have 349,000 other minds to change. How are you going to do that?
Well, we're going to work really closely with a lot of the parts of the community that we haven't been reaching out to. I think one of the things that the office is doing now is really communicating better. We're pushing information out better. This report that we put out last Thursday is part of the reason, is part of the plan that we're moving forward. But let me clarify one thing. Look, we used to have these two elections running at the same time, and they're very separate. The ballots are treated separately for vote by mail and polling place elections. The only thing that's similar is the way that they're printed. They're even counted differently. And so instead of having two completely separate voting systems, we're going to have one. And so getting information out to voters, helping folks understand the way that they're supposed to be voting really becomes simplified because there's just one system, and that's going to help folks understand better. They may not completely like it. I get that, but sometimes leaders have to lead.
Last question, I hope you can answer it fairly quickly. That 40,000 number I just threw out, the 40,000 voter registrations you found, gets at the whole confidence issue. You found this in a warehouse somewhere.
We had them in the recording storage spaces. We had some boxes with registration forms that were not entered into the electronic system. We have shifted our policy so that instead of just, when we say cancel them, instead of just putting them in a box, we are actually going to enter them electronically into our system. We're not registering the voters if they don't have that proof of citizenship as necessary, but at least we're recording the fact that someone signed off and said, I'm over 18, I'm a U.S. citizen. So we have that on record.
Could some of those people be the calls I get after every election who say, I went there, I said that,
could be.
I said I registered, and they didn't have anything on me?
They very well
could be those people.
It's entirely
So people
possible.
may have lost their right to vote.
Well, they may have. They may have, but we're working on that. And like you said, we're working on fixes for all of these things. We're in the middle of the process of re-engaging those 40,000 voter registrations, and hopefully we can preserve this fundamental right in the best way possible. So that is definitely one major policy shift in the office.
All right, Adrian Fontes, big agenda. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
When we come back, Arizona's universities make a grab for cash from our cities. Why one big city mayor is saying, hands off. Plus, a Phoenix Law School students can't pass the test to become a lawyer. Now the school is in really big trouble. Stay with us.